What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the newest episode of the Believe in Oregon podcast. I'm Zachary, Neel. He's Jonathan Stewart. J Stu, what's up, man? How we doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
We're doing good. We're getting through
Yeah.
the week. We got a couple of sick
I
kids
see
over
you're
here.
still
Just
wearing your
working.
hat, the Rose Bowl hat.
It's a nice hat,
Can't let
man.
it go, huh?
What am I
Can't let
gonna
it
do?
go.
It's, it's funny. We talked last episode. I gave my brother a Rose Bowl shirt because I went out and got him a nice Rose Bowl shirt. He's a big Oregon fan, and he's like, "Yeah, it's nice."
Yeah.
It's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't return it afterwards."
Yeah,
It's all right.
it'd be like that. Well,
Yeah, it
I'm proud
does.
of you for wearing the hat, though.
I mean, I think I'm still gonna wear it. It's a really nice hat. I like the hat, but
Yeah.
whatever. We said last week when we recorded that we didn't know when we'd be coming back on, and that we might take this week off since we recorded on, I think it was Thursday or Friday, just a few days ago. But I had several thoughts come up over the last few days, kind of about this game and how we're all processing it.
Yeah.
I thought that we needed to talk again. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
This is called, podcasting these days. They say it's a form of informative. It's like a way to get your information, right?
Yeah,
But, for the people that do podcast, it's a way for us to have therapy.
it is. It's therapy. We're getting our thoughts out. So, all you listeners, thank you so much for just giving us
Mhm.
this platform to have public therapy. I'm not sure that's what I want, but
Yeah, mental stability is everything.
yeah. Well, we got a good show for you guys today. We're going to chat a little bit more about the end of the Ducks season. We're also going to look ahead to the remaining playoff games that take place later this week. And then I want to wrap things up with kind of our year-end awards for the team and just kind of give out some awards, recognize some guys that played really well that deserve recognition. Sound good to you?
Yep.
I want to start with this. Has anything changed for you over the past few days? Do you feel any differently about the game? Any stronger about certain things? Are you more depressed about certain things? Where are you at right now?
Um, I feel even stronger about the way the playoff structure is set up.
Okay. Okay.
There's no way in hell that any college football team should have 3.5 weeks off before
Okay.
playing in a playoff game. At the professional level in NFL, you have a week off. And even at that point, you get that 1 week towards the end of the year, everything's on the line. Is one game and you're out. Everything, the stakes are just so high, right? So you
Mhm.
have that week off if you have a bye week. In the back of your mind, you're saying to yourself, man, I hope everybody's locked in,
It's still a
right?
question.
It's a question that goes on in your head, and it's like, man, whoever we play, I hope their momentum does not, take control over the game.
Yeah.
Story time with Jonathan Stewart here.
Oh boy.
My rookie season, we make the playoffs. I think we're 12-4, and Jake Delhomme was our quarterback. Steve Smith, Julius Peppers, me, and D'Angelo Williams. Musa Muhammad, Jordan Gross, Ryan Khalil, you name it, just the guys, right? John Beeson, for all the Panther fans out there. We are playing the Arizona Cardinals, and we have a bye week before we play them. And had a really great week of practice. I'm like, oh man, this is great. My rookie year. And I'm feeling fresh, because I was coming off of a toe surgery from Oregon that I had
Mhm.
before the draft. And so that was an opportunity for me to recover. And it was an opportunity for a lot of guys, that get banged up. It's a long season, just to feel better, right? I'm like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be, right? Get a bye week, feeling good, and then we play the Arizona Cardinals, and we have a dud of a game on offense.
Hmm.
And the thing about offense is everything. There's a lot more that has to go right on the offensive side of the ball for things to click.
Mhm.
And when you have time off and you're not checked in, and all it takes is one guy to just have a bad game, and things just go south. And it got out of control real quick for us, and we lost our first playoff. We lost the first playoff game, and I'll always remember that feeling because it was my rookie season was a bit like Bucky Irving's,
Mhm.
um, very successful first year, sharing splitting time with D'Angelo Williams, and we're just, getting fed the rock every chance that we really need to gain an extra 5 yards, right? So it's like
Mhm.
3rd and 5, we're gonna run a draw play. So it was just a good offense to be a part of if you're a running back. And we get to the playoffs, man, and it just got snatched away that quick.
Mhm.
And I just remember like, man, it's over. That's it. And that's exactly what you put these kids, I'm saying kids because they're
Yeah.
young men, and you have a roster, maybe you have a couple 20-year-olds, a couple 21-year-olds, maybe if you're lucky like us. How old is Dylan Gabriel?
I
22?
think 20, I think he turned 24.
Okay, 24. He's the oldest guy on the team, but
Mhm.
still, yeah, the offensive side of the ball not being able to click and you having these 3 and outs, that just
Mhm.
screams that, the intensity's not there, the energy's not there, your preparation was stagnant because you were stagnant. You were sitting around for 3.5 weeks. What do you expect? And then
Mhm.
you go home for winter break for the holidays to be with your family, so you're checked out. The key ingredient to teams that are successful in playoffs at the NFL level is that they are never checked out.
Yeah.
You are always in it. You look at Tom Brady, the reason why Tom Brady was so successful is because he was obsessed. He was obsessed with the craft. He was obsessed with the game of football. He so much so to where family time, that happens after the football season.
Mhm.
I don't care what it is. I don't care what holiday it is. I don't care what it is. So 3.5 weeks is just hard for anyone to just light a match and just go out there and play, especially arguably the number 2 team in the nation, right?
I hear you, and I mostly agree with you, but I also feel like we have to hold ourselves accountable because right before the game, we were saying, "Man, that bye week, really nice to have that bye week.
Yeah.
Super glad we got that bye." And it's like, dang, that didn't work out the way we wanted. So I
But
think we just like I don't disagree with you, but we
I
also need to be
think
like,
I
"Okay,
think
we
we
might have
talked
been wrong."
ourselves I think I
Yeah, we
talked
did.
myself into it
I did as
because
well. I'm right there with
I
you.
didn't want because I was basically, you know, Dan Lanning's not gonna throw the excuse out, so I don't wanna
Totally.
talk about it either, right?
Exactly.
But in the back of my mind, just like I have been in the league going into playoffs
Mhm.
situations, having a bye week in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself,
It's a little bit
"Well,
scary.
we better be locked in because if we
Yeah.
not, we're gonna get the
Yeah.
brakes knocked off of us."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I don't
to your point though, we definitely did not come to play, and
Mhm.
I just think obviously we just didn't have the juice, and we
Yeah.
were not locked in, and I
Yeah, I
think
just don't
it was
want
a
it to
lot.
seem like I don't want it to seem like we're just going back on our word now and saying, "Oh, no, we never wanted the buy." It's like, "No, we wanted the buy. I thought it was a good idea."
I
Now
thought it
in
was a good
hindsight,
idea.
it's like, "Damn,
Hindsight, it's not.
maybe maybe that wasn't the best call."
And I think
Um,
that's what I sat on mostly the weekend
yeah,
is that is not the way to do this.
yeah, I think so.
No one should I wouldn't wish this on Ohio State. I
Yeah,
wouldn't wish this
absolutely.
on anyone to have 3.5 weeks off as a college football team and expected to go out there and perform first game of the season against a bad seed.
Yeah. But then again, it's also, like I said last week, it needs to, I think, be taken on a case by case basis because there
Yeah.
is a world where Ohio State maybe got hurt in that first week. And it's like, oh man, that bye is looking really good. So each year you can kind
Mhm.
of treat it differently. What I noticed this week is that I feel I've talked to a lot of Oregon fans, a lot of people in Eugene, family members, friends via text. It feels like there's just kind of this general malaise and apathy among the fan base right now. I feel like this fan base is really kind of dealing with a sort of depression right now and almost a feeling of indifference. I mean, Oregon landed two really good players out of the transfer portal today and got the news that Evan Stewart was coming back. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but a lot of the fans I talked to and a lot of the friends I talked to were kind of like, yeah, okay. So what? Like, they don't really care right now. I'm not sure how long this funk is going to last. It feels worse than past ones. I know that's also because we're right in it right now, but it's because I think this new era felt so different. I have a feeling that this staff and this team is going to struggle a little bit and have to work really hard next year to get the same type of buy-in from this fan base over the offseason and next season. Maybe it's just like some of the fans that I've come into contact with, but a lot of them are thinking I've gotten this sense from a lot of people that the regular season next year just doesn't really mean much. I mean, Oregon has a pretty easy regular season schedule. Their biggest game is they go on the road to Penn State in September. They can win that game, and I think a lot of people are going to be like, okay, like, cool, nice regular season win. What does it matter? Like, what is there to get
Yeah.
excited about? So, I'm not saying I agree with that or feel that personally. I've just gotten that sense from a lot of people so far. And it's just, it'll be interesting to see how this team deals with that. I want to see how they deal with the social media aspect too, because, Dan Lanning is out there and this team is out there putting videos out every week, hyping people up, and the fan base really bought into it. I'm curious to see if that continues next year as well, because I've gotten that feeling that fans don't want to see that anymore if it doesn't lead to something at the end of the year. And
Yeah.
it didn't lead to anything this year, so I'm just curious to see what stage this team goes into. If they're still just as much bark, and hoping that the bite comes, what they do next year, because they're at an interesting spot right now.
Yeah. I still feel very upset about this whole playoff thing. So,
It's frustrating. It ended the season without closure.
yeah.
That's really what it was. It feels like everything just got ripped away, and you didn't really have a chance to say goodbye to this team or these players because you thought you'd be seeing them for at least a
Yeah.
week or 2 more. That's exactly how I feel. It's
Yeah,
like, "Damn,
that's a good way to put it.
we'll never see Dylan Gabriel play in an Oregon uniform again." And that
Yeah.
was the last time we'll never see Tez Johnson, Trayshawn Holden in an Oregon uniform. And I
Yeah.
don't think many people were ready for that going into that game. They hadn't really processed the thought of that being the last they'd ever see of him.
Yeah. I mean, just the preparation there, man. The bye week. Yeah, like a regular season bye week in the league. At least you know who you're playing the next week, so you have a whole week to prepare.
I mean, they knew who they were
They
playing.
knew who they were playing, but the intensity was gone. Listen,
Yeah.
it's like being stuck in the house over spring break or winter break with your family, like when you're younger and you're with your siblings and all you get to do and all you have to do is play with your siblings because it's snowing
Mhm.
or it's raining outside all day throughout the whole break. Eventually, you're like, man, I can't wait to get back to school,
Yeah.
so I can play with someone else, like for real.
Mhm.
Because it just gets old to get stagnant, and I just really hate for the Oregon program to experience, um, something for the first time that college sports has had to face this year, in the way they did. Because no athlete wants to be put on the spot like that, and I just feel like
Mhm.
we were put on the spot, and it was not an ordinary spot. It was the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Well,
Mm.
just, what we've talked about before. It's just, Oregon some way, somehow finds these ways to lose games in in tough ways. I mean, if this was any other year, 14 playoff, Ohio State's not even there. They're in. They've got Texas or Notre Dame. I feel like they could win. BCS, they're in a game against Georgia for the national championship when Georgia has a backup quarterback. Like any other era of college football,
Wow,
this is a cakewalk for Oregon. It's like, oh, it just happened to be the
the
first year
best
of the
team in the
playoff.
nation.
God, it's frustrating.
Jeremiah Smith. I have nightmares about him.
Oh,
Get it?
you're gonna say
Get
the
it?
word nightmares?
Get it? Full
Yeah,
Howard?
I guess. All right, well, let's move on from this game. We got some news items to go over. I hinted at them a little bit. I want to talk to you about this first one. Your guy Jordan James declared for the 2025 NFL Draft yesterday on Monday. We're recording this on Tuesday. He passed on his final year of eligibility. Do you think this is a good idea, in your opinion, for James to go to the league?
Yeah, I think for a running back specifically, I mean, you just saw the Ohio State game. He got knocked out of the game. Um, the running back position is so demanding on the body, and when you have an opportunity to exit in a way where you can preserve an opportunity to get those carries into the league where you can get paid and start your professional career. I think for the running back position, you do that. Um, I think he's probably a top. I think he's a top 10 back for sure.
Okay.
Maybe like seven,
Mhm.
number seven. I would say. I would say the Penn State running back, the two Ohio State running backs, obviously Ashton
JG.
Jeanty, number one. Um, Scatterbo.
Mhm.
Um, I mean,
Notre
there's
Dame's
probably
running back, Jeremiah
yeah,
Love.
Notre Dame's Jeremiah, yeah, Love, yeah.
It's a good running back class for sure.
It is, and I think one of the things that you know he's limited. I think the one weakness that I would say is the ability to create runs. Right
Mhm.
when the hole's not there, what are you doing? Right? Can you make something happen when the holes aren't there and there's a defensive lineman in the backfield? Can you stiff arm a guy? Can you shake a guy and create yards?
Mhm.
That's what these scouts are looking for at the next level. Can these running backs be put in any system and be successful? I think Jordan James, you know, he's a if he has the right scheme and they're blocking well, he's like an Emmett Smith, right?
Mhm.
Not comparing the talent there, but
That
just the
style
the
of play.
style of play. Um, I mean, he can be whoever he wants to be, he puts in the work, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, but I think he has a good offensive line, he can read blocks, he can do all those things really well. But there's other backs out there that can create plays. That can when there's nothing there, that's when you become special.
I mean, we've seen a former Oregon running back be one of those guys this year in Bucky Irving. I mean,
Yeah.
talking about creating plays when there's nothing there, there's a few
Yeah.
people that do it as well as Bucky does. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. It's gonna be exciting to see where he goes, what he does. I think he's probably, like you said, a mid rounder, probably third, fourth, fifth round likely. But
Mhm.
he's not someone who just, he's not someone who redshirted and had a couple of years in college. I mean, he played as a true freshman and he played
Yeah.
a lot as a sophomore. He played a lot as a junior. I mean, he's got some miles on him. So getting this
Yeah.
opportunity and taking it, I think is smart for him.
Absolutely.
And it leaves Oregon in an interesting spot at the running back position because, yes, you still have Noah Whittington who could decide to come back if he wants to. You have Jaden Lamar, you have Dewan Riggs, and then you have incoming true freshman Jordan Davison. None of those guys are proven, though they all have a lot of talent, which is why I think Oregon made a really good move earlier today, just before we started recording. They brought in Tulane transfer Makhi Hughes, who I think he was the number one available player in the transfer portal. Redshirt sophomore, he has two 1,000-yard seasons. Both of his seasons are 1,000 yards. He
Oh,
had 15 touchdowns this past year. Like I said, number one ranked transfer portal player remaining. He comes in, and I think he is, depending on what Noah Whittington does, I mean, he's either RB1A, RB1B alongside Whittington, or if Whittington leaves, he's RB1 next year for the Ducks. I think this is a really good signing, really good move from Dan Lanning and the Ducks. Feels like they got their guy.
yeah, I love that. I haven't watched any film on him, but obviously I think it's telling where we're headed
Mhm.
when it comes to the portal and the existence of guys that have proven themselves a little bit already at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
Um, you know, there's nothing better than experience at this
Mhm.
point, seems like. So kudos to them.
Yeah, and it pairs well because, the other news that we got on Tuesday, Evan Stewart announced he's returning for one more year with the Ducks. This is something that I was told a couple weeks ago was likely not unexpected this to happen. But the Ducks also brought in transfer portal player from Florida State, Malik Benson, the former number one ranked JUCO player in the nation. He technically would be out of eligibility, but because of that NCAA ruling for Diego Pavia, a couple weeks ago that gives all JUCO players one more year. He gets one
Mm.
more year. He's going to spend it with the Ducks, try and elevate his draft stock, go to the league after this. I've seen a lot of fans kind of like asking, why did they do this? Kind of questioning why this move. You don't really need him because you have a ton of talent at the receiver position. To me, it's a really high upside, low risk proposition. I mean, yes, you have Evan Stewart, Jurion Dickey, Kyler Casper, Justice Lowe, Jeremiah McClellan, Decoria Moore. The list goes on. Those are all just like the running back position, really talented players. They're not proven yet. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think you feel comfortable going into a year with just those as your starting receivers. You want experience, you want proven production. I think Malik Benson brings that. It reminds me a lot of the Bear Alexander addition on the defensive line. It's just kind of that high ceiling, low floor addition. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, that's really not that big of a deal. You got a very young wide receiver room in Eugene, and this kind of just gives them a safety net.
Yeah. I think it's safe.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sad seeing Tez and Trayshawn gone.
Like we were saying earlier, man, they got ripped
They
away
just
from us. We weren't ready.
yeah, weren't ready.
No closure.
None.
All right, let's talk.
But have a successful career, fellas. All those that are going off to the draft. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
I agree. Let's talk some college football playoff real quick before we get to our season end awards. We've got 2 games left: Penn State versus Notre Dame and Ohio State versus Texas. I think I know who you're picking in both games. I've actually had a change of heart in one of the games, but we'll start by saying I think you're going with Notre Dame over Penn State, right? Notre Dame -2 is the line.
Yes.
Okay.
Defense about to be out of control.
Okay. This is where I had the change of heart. I'm actually going Penn State. When Notre Dame was
Why?
my, to get to the championship pick, the injuries worry me a little bit with Notre Dame. I know at this time of year, everyone's banged up, but Jeremiah Love, who we were just talking about, running back, is questionable to play with a knee injury. They also lost their best defensive lineman, Riley Mills, in the first round playoff game. I know Penn State might not have Abdul Carter, which would be huge, but we'll see. Ultimately, I think this is a toss-up, though. I mean, these two teams are basically the exact same in my mind. They just wear different colors. But I think I just kind of have a gut feeling that Penn State is the healthier team, and they're going to get the job done.
Yeah, top Notre Dame players not playing in the Orange Bowl. Abdul Carter, questionable with injury.
Hmm.
What kind of injury? Is it injury to
I don't
enter
know
the
what it
league?
was.
Enter the league injury?
I
Which I
don't
ain't
think
mad
he.
at.
I don't think he would do that for a playoff game.
Um, oh, Joey Schlaffer. Is that the no, that's not the no, that's not the tight end. The tight end.
Oh, Tyler Warren.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
No, he's healthy.
Um, yeah. I still think Notre Dame. Touchdown Jesus gonna win.
Touchdown, Jesus. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't. I don't feel strongly about Penn State. I just think that if I were to bet this game, which I'm not, I would probably lean Penn State, but I could see either team winning.
Mhm.
Let me guess, you're taking Ohio State.
Oh yeah, Jeremiah Smith gonna continue to rip apart some
Yeah,
guys. Yeah.
yeah. I think I said last week that I only place bets when I really feel strongly about one side, and I will say this is the largest sports bet I have ever placed on Ohio State -5.5. And I will not say how much it was because I have a feeling that we are in quite different tax brackets, and this size bet might be a little bit different than what one of your largest size sports bets ever would have been. But I've got Ohio State -5.5, and I feel good about it.
I'm a parlay guy. I don't
Uh-huh.
really bet. I don't make large bets. I make
Okay.
parlays, dollar bets. I've been
Dollar.
close, man. I've been real close.
Just like a 10 leg parlay.
Oh, 10, like 20.
Oh my god.
Like I've been really close. Like I've almost, and it happened overnight, and I fell asleep, and I should have cashed out. If I would have cashed out, it'd been nice. But I had a
Uh-huh.
dollar bet to win like $120,000 or something like that. And
Jeez, yeah, you should have cashed out.
I woke up and it was like 2 bets that just didn't go through.
Bummer. That's a
If I
bummer.
was awake, I would have cashed out.
Yeah, oh well. All right, let's get into our awards and this thing on a high note. I sent you the ballot before the episode, so we're just gonna go down the list and make our picks for some of these. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, offensive MVP for the Oregon Ducks in 2024. Who was it for you?
Dilly, 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 dilly.
Really?
It's not
Okay, go on.
even that's not even a question. in
I
my
think it is
opinion.
a question.
Nah, Dylan
Yeah.
Gabriel all the way.
No disrespect to Dylan Gabriel. I've got Tez Johnson. I
Okay.
think what he did and what the offense looked like without him, I think was incredible. I mean, you could see how valuable he was. This is the conversation about, best player or most valuable player. Dylan
Mhm.
Gabriel, absolutely deserving. I think we can give it to Dylan Gabriel because I think he deserves it. But Tez, I think, just showed that he was, on another level as an Oregon receiver. I thought he was really good this year.
Yeah.
All right, defensive MVP.
That's tough
This
because there's
this
2
one's tougher.
guys.
Just two guys.
Because I have one for my MVP. I have one for, like, most improved.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Um,
right.
but Imma just go Jordan Birch,
Okay.
um, for my MVP.
Okay. See, the guy that you're doing for most improved is what I was gonna do for most valuable, but I've got another guy for most improved. Yeah, let's give it to Birch. He was
Okay.
incredible this year, and we
Yeah.
can give the other guy his flowers in most improved. Birch, I mean, he was someone who last year we didn't know if he was gonna come back or not, and he
Mhm.
made the decision to come back for one more year to try and help his draft stock, and I think it was the best decision he ever made because he is a bona fide, I mean, first or second round player right now, and I think that he just kind of proved this year how good he can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he and you when you this is another one that's tough because, like, yes, best player, but the defense was also still really good when he wasn't there, when
When
he
he
was
wasn't
injured.
there.
So, like, maybe not most valuable player because he was they did fine without him, but he's still, I think, the best player on
He's
the
a I
roster.
think when you're scheming for a team and you have to basically circle a guy,
Yeah,
he's the guy you're gonna circle.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Alright, offensive most improved player of the year.
Offensive most improved. I'd say, man, kinda hard because I is was there any, like, comeback player of the year?
Like, on the list, are we doing that? Is that what
I
you're
mean,
asking?
I would say Noah Whittington,
Okay.
from the standpoint of
We
last
should have
year
done
coming
a
off of
comeback
an
player of the year,
injury,
yeah. Mhm,
um, but, looping him into the most improved, I'd say so just because of the fact that he was injured, and so he had to come back from injury,
mhm,
and not only did he come back, he came back strong. Like,
mhm,
I think he proved that he was a strong runner this year. Sometimes you didn't really know the difference of whether he was in the game or if it was Jordan James, the way they were just being so, so much in a attack mode, running over guys and
mhm.
staying on their feet, keeping their balance and scoring and stuff like that. So um, I'm gonna go him.
Yeah, I'm split between 2. I like your answer. I would either go Josh Conerly or Trayshawn Holden, and I think I'm
Now
gonna go
see,
Trayshawn Holden.
oh, okay,
Because I mean, coming into this year, he was circled as, like, the number 3 receiver, and I think
hmm
I was saying this before the year to you, I think he's gonna be the number 2 guy behind Tez. I think he ended up that way too. I mean, Evan Stewart was really good in flashes, but he wasn't as consistent as you'd hope he'd be. And
yeah,
Trayshawn was just kinda steady Eddie all year long, showing up when you needed him. He showed up really big in that Rose Bowl when no one else really could do anything.
yeah,
I would give it to him. I think he was really good. You
yeah.
liked the Connerly answer, though.
Uh, Connerly, that Penn State game, him locking up
Really good.
Abdul Carter and
Mhm,
really actually I watched a couple clips of that game. Someone like did a breakdown of the clips of just the matchup there, one on one. Man, like he gonna
yeah.
get drafted just off of that film.
I mean,
Like,
talk about a guy who came in who didn't have a high draft stock. I mean, he was probably a mid-rounder, maybe if he even declared for the league this year. And
yeah,
now
he's
it's
got
like
great.
he can't not declare because he's gonna be a
Yeah,
first or second rounder.
he's got great feet. He
Mhm,
covers a lot of ground. And it just has like good wits about him as far as like his punches, his hand placement, especially on a fast guy like Abdul Carter. Like
mhm.
that's hard to do,
Yeah.
hard to teach. You just either got it or you don't. And
Mhm.
um, so yeah, I love that as a 1A or a
Yeah.
1B.
Yeah. Alright, let's talk about your guy, defensive most improved.
Mateo
Now try and say it.
Ayugalagale.
Not even close.
Mateo, hey, yo, Teo,
You got
listen,
another year to try and get it, though. We're
when
good.
Jordan Birch went down, you rose to the occasion. Let me say that again. Teo, when Jordan Birch went down, you rose to the occasion.
Mhm.
And that's what it's all about, man. When you have depth, when you have guys, not just a guy, when you have guys like that is what good defenses are made out of. Plug and play.
Mhm.
And Mateo, he made a mess out there, 10 sacks. Come on, man. Like UW game, come on. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved every bit. I loved every bit of it. So, and also he's a music guy, you know? So,
Young
like,
Concrete.
yeah, young concrete. So shout out to you, most improved, but arguably you could be the best. It can be either or. You can be the MVP of the defense and you can be the most improved. Either way, you're a dog. So
Yeah, he absolutely could have been either. I think that's a great pick. I honestly have Bryce Betcher for this one because I think if you
nice.
talk about actually most improved, I mean, this guy was not expected to be a starter on
Yeah.
this team and
Baseball player.
not expected to lead the team in tackles and, like,
Yeah.
get himself into the NFL draft conversation. Like, good lord,
Hmm.
he had such a good season. There's a chance he returns one more year next year, so I think that'd be awesome for this team who needs some experience and veteran leadership at the linebacker spot. So
Yeah.
good on Bryce. I don't think anyone outside of the program. I mean, I'm sure people inside saw that what he could do in spring and fall and saw this coming, but I mean, hand up, I didn't see it coming. Good on you.
Yeah.
All right, best position group.
Wideouts.
Yeah, I think so.
Easy.
Well, no, I'm gonna
No.
change my answer. Whiteouts is
Really?
good. Yeah.
Wideout. Hold on. Who
Okay.
is the best group?
Defensive line. Tell me I'm wrong. You got the
I'm
MVP,
just gonna.
the
I'm just
most
gonna.
improved, and then Derek Harmon and
I'm
Jamari
gonna say
Caldwell.
those two guys. The two guys are legit. Now, as far as that run game that they couldn't
Don't be
stop against Penn
disparaging Derek
State,
Harmon.
huh?
Derek Harmon might be the highest drafted player on this team.
Yeah, but listen, it falls on D line when you can't stop the run.
Okay.
Okay, like as a unit, y'all
Yeah.
individually nice, but as a
Okay.
unit, as a group, y'all struggle against Penn State. I ain't like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
If I'm a running back, I want to be the best running back group coming out of that game. Y'all didn't allow that to happen. I can tell
Okay.
you that.
Well, the wide receivers struggled a little bit against Ohio State's cornerbacks as well.
Yeah, that's a little bit of that was dictated on the program in
Okay.
which what we were running. Okay, we was there's a lot more that goes into getting the ball
That's
to the
fair.
receivers.
You
Okay,
know
a
what? I
little
don't
blocking, you gotta the timing, the delivery, and the play calling. Um, what else? Yeah, that's about it.
I don't like this. This is supposed to be a celebratory conversation. We're trashing each other's picks. I'm talking down on these players. Both the
Nah, we ain't
wideouts
talking
and the
down. Man,
defensive
listen,
line were
it's
great.
it's the season is over with.
It's true.
It's time for a new horizon, man.
Yeah,
They're not bad players. I said as a group.
yeah.
You said
They
this
could
is
have
the
been better
group thing.
at certain
Okay.
times of the year.
Yeah. When it
All
mattered the
right.
most, we still rose to the occasion.
Hmm,
Just we just gotta be
somewhat. Just that one's gonna hurt for a while. All right, best win.
the best win was the Ohio State first time.
You think so?
Yeah. I think that gave us the credibility in the Big Ten. Nationally, the coverage was being talked about and gave a lot of players some verification, and I think um, that was huge for the University of Oregon. That big of a game in Eugene, just the spotlight, and you rose to the occasion. You won. So
Did that win lose any luster in your mind after the way the season ended?
no,
Okay.
Because I think given where they were, especially starting the season off sluggish, trying to find themselves, they found themselves that game, and I think they were, and they still had an incredible season here.
Mhm.
This is a team that went through a lot of ups and downs and some injuries here and there, but they still found ways to win when it mattered during the regular season. Um, Again, it's a momentum thing when it comes to the playoffs, and I'm gonna continue to just sleep in that, swim in that, live in that.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to ever be in that situation where you ain't got no momentum.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think it's Ohio State. I was
Mhm.
contemplating saying the Wisconsin win because I think that's probably the second best win. All
Yeah,
they had to go through for that and what they did on the road to come back, and winning that in a different way. I think it was 16-13. But
yeah.
in the end, the Ohio State win is the best win in Dan Lanning's career.
Mhm.
I think probably the biggest win in Autzen Stadium history.
Yeah.
So that's this season was not what it ended up being without that Ohio State win.
Mhm.
I think, like you said, that did give them the credibility, the attention, the spotlight, everything it did for this program came with that win.
Mhm.
All right, what was your most pleasant surprise
My
from this
most
team?
pleasant surprise from the team or players?
Either one.
Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, good answer.
Um, that gives me, when you're looking for, something to be happy about, he's a
Mhm.
guy that makes me happy.
Definitely. It's a bright
I
future there.
can't, bright future, bright, and he's only got 2 years left. I'm letting you know. So,
I mean, he's only got 1 year left.
oh, he's a sophomore.
Yeah, he's a sophomore.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
he's only got 1 year left.
oh,
I
he's got
think
one more
hold on.
year.
Before I say that so confident, let me double check, but I am pretty sure.
He was on the roster last year.
Yeah.
They hit him well.
Yeah, they didn't use him at all. Yeah, he was a sophomore this year. He only played
So,
he played in 14 games last year. So yeah, no
so
redshirt.
he is going to go off next year if he's utilized properly.
He better
However, y'all use Ferguson this year, use him the same.
double it.
Can you have him gain some weight, gain about 10 more pounds? He
I
can
don't
he
know,
can
man.
carry
This is
he can
already
carry
pretty big.
no, he can carry it. He just needs to load up. I'm telling you. He's
Okay.
already big. He's got the frame. Okay.
He does
He's
have a
got
frame.
frame. He can bulk up a little bit more so that way he can take on these blocks. Because we need you to be out there taking on these blocks and then getting open down the seam.
6'3", 245. That's what they have
Yeah,
him
we need
listed
him.
at.
We need him to be like 255.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
My most pleasant surprise, we talked about it a little bit earlier, Derek Harmon in the middle. I think
Yeah.
that he was a guy that came in from the transfer portal from Michigan State, and it was like, all right, this is a solid player. I think he'd be really good. I didn't see him being this good. I don't know if they expected him to be this good, but man, he was an absolute game wrecker in the middle. And he was someone that we thought might be here for 2 years. Came in as a junior, might spend his 2 years, go to the draft. Like Josh Connerly, he played his way into the position where he can't come back. I mean, he's got to go to the league now because he's a first or second rounder. He is
Yeah.
an absolute dog. I really enjoyed watching him this year.
Yeah. We have a lot of replacement to do to have to deal with.
Yeah,
Um, that's
absolutely.
I wonder how they feel as a staff. Like, man, we got a lot of work to do in the recruiting and
Yeah,
off season. I mean,
that's just
obviously, too, you
life now
got
for
some guys
them.
that you're gonna develop, and
Mhm,
some guys that we don't even know about, like Kenyon Sadiq. We didn't know about him until this year.
mhm.
Um, and so I'm excited. I'm more so excited to see kind of how all this shapes out when in springtime comes around. Um, Hopefully, we get a little bit more access over there so we can watch what's going on in spring practice.
I have a feeling. I'm pretty confident that will not happen, especially the way this year ended. They're not letting us see anything.
Come on, Dan. Let me see what's going on.
No,
What's the plan?
no. I mean, maybe you can swing you some weight around and come out here in Eugene and see some stuff, but man,
Yeah.
people like me, we're not seeing anything.
Well, it's
All
all
right,
right.
do you want to get negative real quick?
Let's get negative.
Who was your most frustrating player this year? I think it's good that it's taking you so long. That means there probably wasn't that much frustration outside of one 3-hour stretch in January.
I wasn't frustrated with any players.
Okay.
I think this I think the run game specifically, stopping
Mhm.
it as a whole, that was
Stopping
my
it.
big
Okay.
that was my biggest frustration all year, is allowing big runs, allowing explosive plays, um, to teams that don't deserve it.
Yeah. The inability to stop the run, I think, was definitely one of the most frustrating aspects of the year for sure.
And then, 1B there would be, coming out in the 3rd quarter, flat.
Mm, very
Yeah,
good one. Yeah.
yeah,
Dang, that feels like so long ago that that was such a big issue because
yeah.
they came out flat in all 4 quarters the last time we saw them.
"Hey, when y'all gonna score?" "Oh, okay."
Actually, no, the best they looked in that game against
It was
Ohio
the 3rd
State was
quarter.
the start of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah,
God, what a
yeah.
time.
Start fast.
Um, for me, my most frustrating player, I think, was right tackle Johnny Cornelius.
Ah,
They
corn.
went into this year thinking he'd be like a first round pick, like really one of the best right tackles in the nation.
Buddy
He played
looked bad in that
he played
game.
fine. He really got exposed against Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau
That
against
boy was
Ohio
like this,
State.
"Oh, Lord." Ah,
Yeah, I expected a little bit more from him, and I think he's gonna have a really good NFL career. I think he's a really good player, but I think we were sold on him being a really, really good player this year, and I don't think he quite lived up to the billing. Not to say he wasn't good, but he wasn't the star that I thought he'd be.
yeah.
All right, let's end on a positive note. What was your favorite uniform of the season?
The all black
I knew you were gonna say
unis,
that.
all black. 'Cause, the plates there looked like, Black Panther, even though
Oh,
we
they
are the
did.
Duck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Or
Yeah,
like
I think I'm
it
gonna
was
join
like a
you.
necklace,
Yeah,
built in.
I'm gonna join you in that. I think the all black fly era was really, really good. My second, and this is a very unpopular opinion, I loved the Rose Bowl uniforms.
I
I thought
did
they looked
too.
great.
I thought they looked really nice.
The
The
general
chrome
consensus from
helmets.
the fan base was that they were bad and that they shouldn't have had white pants. I don't know, man. I love those uniforms. I kinda hate them now because of what happened to them, but,
Maybe that's why
those
they
were
don't like them.
well, they hated them before the game. Maybe that's why we lost.
Just bad energy.
Bad energy.
For now on,
It's
let
the
me give a
fans' fault.
public service announcement. Next time the Oregon Ducks decide to wear a uniform that you do not like, please be quiet. Do not let the team or the coaching staff hear what you have to say about the uniforms
That's
until
true.
after the game.
That's
Thank
true.
you.
We need good energy, good energy. Alright, we're gonna wrap it up there. Just do you got anything to add before we get out of here?
It was a heck of a season. We should all be proud of our Ducks, despite the ending and how it went down. Um, you know, it's still one of those things where keep things in perspective. I saw something where um uh what's his name?
I don't
Alabama
know.
coach.
Oh, Kalen DeBoer or Nick Saban.
Saban.
You couldn't remember Saban's name? Come
Boy, CTE is crazy. But
on.
so Nick Saban, I saw, something with Nick Saban where it took like 10 seasons or something like that, or 10
Mhm.
college seasons as a head
It's a long
football
time.
coach to become a national champion, right? And um, Dan Lanning he just finished his 3rd season, right, as a head coach.
Yeah.
And so be patient. Things just don't happen right away. Um, and we have the advantage recruiting wise going into next year. We've made our presence known in the Big Ten, and got a lot of good exposure. So uh, I think we're in a good spot for next year. So don't hang your head too low. Be positive, and should be fun going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Duck fans should not feel pressured or forced to move on because everyone moves on at different rates, and this is definitely a tough thing to move on from. But like you said, it was an incredible season. There's so much to be excited about with this team. I mean, you've
Hmm.
got Tez Johnson saying that Dante Moore is going to be a Heisman finalist next year,
Oh
quarterback.
yeah.
Like that's stuff you love to hear. And if when you're ready, whenever you're ready, take your time. There's reasons to be excited, and there's reasons for hope in the future. But no one's forcing you to do it right now. You can still be frustrated. It's fine. We're less than a week removed from I think a week removed tomorrow. So it's okay. Mourn on your own time, but we're here when you're ready to talk about Oregon football again and get excited because there's a lot of stuff to get excited about.
Yep. And hopefully our basketball team gets it together so we can
I
have something to cheer for there and
they
March
should.
Madness comes around.
Yeah, they should. They'll be good. They'll be in March Madness. They'll be good. But yeah, let's hope they win a few games there.
Yeah.
All right, let's send it there. You can check out more of my work at duckswire.usatoday.com. Follow me at Zachary C. Neel on Twitter. Follow Jay Stu on Twitter at Jonathan StewR1. And make sure to check out the Believe in Panthers podcast and the Stu and Crew podcast. For myself, Zach Neel, for my co host, Jonathan Stewart, we'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, take it easy.